At the end of World War II, the city of Berlin was divided into two distinct halves. Soviet troops occupied one half, Western forces controlled the other. Over the next 15 years, as socialism was implemented in the eastern half, the German Democratic Republic, the population endured a steady decline in living standards. They also experienced an ongoing food crisis. This drove many people to flee to the West. By August 1961, more than 2.7 million East Germans had escaped to the West. To curtail this exodus, the Eastern Berlin government started to erect fences through parts of the city. On August 12, 1961, all remaining open areas were securely closed off with blockades and barbed wire fencing. This was completed as a surprise move in a single night and with no warning. When the people of Berlin awoke on August 13, they were shocked to find the city completely bisected. Every family was affected in one way or another. Soon, concrete blocks and walls were put into place as well. The military forces in the eastern sector were instructed to shoot anyone trying to climb over the wall, and as a result, many innocent people were killed. The locations where these people had died while attempting to scale the barrier were marked by flowers of remembrance. 2 years after the barriers were first put into place, Sant Kirpal Singh was on a world tour, and his itinerary included Berlin. Arrangements were made with the assistance of a Christian clergyman for the master and his party to have a close look at the wall. Here you see they are walking past the walled-off cemetery of St. Hedwig Cathedral. Both the cathedral and the cemetery lay in the eastern part of the city, just beyond this wall, and had become no longer accessible to those living in West Berlin. In some instances, apartment buildings were right on the dividing line. These border houses had doors and windows that opened into West Berlin. Many people attempted to escape out of their apartment windows. And many died in this attempt, particularly on streets like Bernauer Straße. In time, East German troops forced residents to move out of such buildings, and their entrances and windows were sealed. Here you see the master being shown one such building. By the time this footage was taken, it had become part of the wall. It appears there are two wreaths on the ground, most likely in commemoration of two people who had died at that location. Eventually, all these buildings were torn down and replaced with a 12 feet high concrete wall. Master was deeply moved when he was told of the unhappiness the wall had brought, separating mother from son, husband from wife, and brother from sister. Upon seeing all of this and with a feeling of deep compassion, Kirpal Singh made the following statement.
It is the right of everybody to be free. We know that stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage. Birds fly freely anywhere. The spirit is free. Man, the highest of God's creation, should therefore certainly be free. The inexorable law of nature is that all who do wrong must pay. Whosoever is responsible must pay for all cruel suppression of humanity, for all aggression. In the meantime, we of India, who have enjoyed the freedom of life and spirit, pray for those who do not enjoy their right of freedom. We know their situation. We don't forget them. All humans should have the right of self-determination as to where they wish to live. The Spirit is in all, and the Spirit will overcome.
During his time in Berlin, Kirpal Singh visited many religious, social and political leaders. 3 days after his visit to the wall, he met with the vice president of the West Berlin Parliament. They discussed the World Fellowship of Religions, and then the conversation turned to the spiritual science which the Master had brought to the West. The vice president was deeply touched by Kirpal Singh's words. He took the Master's hands and thanked him for taking so much trouble to explain the spiritual path. He said that Kirpal Singh had lifted a veil of uncertainty from his heart and planted a new ray of hope in him. He then asked the Master if he had seen the notorious Berlin Wall. A member of Master's party responded that not only had Kirpal Singh seen the wall, but he had given a statement about it. The vice president was then shown a copy of the Master's message on the wall of fear. The vice president was so excited and enthusiastic about the message that he took the Master's hands again and pleaded with him to permit the message to be published in the West Berlin newspapers. The Master happily consented, and a secretary was called and told to have the message translated into German and released to the press. Shortly after this meeting, the Master was off to the next stop on his itinerary.
We know their situation. We don't forget them. The Spirit is in all, and the Spirit will overcome. "26 years after Master's visit, the era of the Berlin Wall came to an end. And to everyone's surprise, it happened without violence. Free movement was once again allowed within Berlin and throughout all of Germany, and the entire 27-mile wall was demolished one piece at a time. And in October of 1990, East and West Germany were reunited as a free country.